Here we're going to continue our look at cycloalkanes by focusing on stereoisomers. Let's consider 1,2-dimethyl cyclopropane. If we were to draw this in a little more detail, we could draw it like this, where here we have a methyl group coming forward and our hydrogen going back, and our methyl group coming forward and our hydrogen going back. So here we have hydrogen forward, hydrogen back. So our 3 ring carbons are in the plane of the screen, and then both of our methyl groups are coming forward, both of our hydrogens are going back. But we could also draw it like this. Here we still have our methyl coming forward, hydrogen back, but what if here we had our hydrogen coming forward and our methyl group going back? Well, at first glance, this might look like what we just saw with alkane conformations, where our groups are in a different location in space. But unlike what we saw with conformations, where we had different arrangement in space that can be interconverted, here we have different arrangement in space, and they cannot be interconverted by rotation around a single bond. So this is actually a new type of isomer. So remember, in general, isomers have the same molecular formula, but are different compounds. We can have constitutional isomers, and these have different connectivity. But now what we see, this is an example of stereoisomers. So a pair of stereoisomers have the same connectivity, but different arrangement in space, and they cannot be interconverted. They are different compounds. So because these are different compounds, then just naming them 1,2-dimethylcyclopropane is not sufficient. We have to be able to specify the fact that in this stereoisomer, both of these methyl groups are coming forward, so they're both on the same side. And here, our methyl groups are on opposite sides. This one is coming forward, and this one is going back. So where both groups are on the same side, this is called cis. And when they are across from each other, then this is trans. So the red compound would be cis 1,2-dimethyl cyclopropane. Such a big name for a little compound. And then the blue one would be trans 1, 2, etc. So cis is the same side, trans is across. In our earlier video, when we were talking about naming, we saw a couple of disubstituted rings. Well, now then we know that actually we should have been more specific, because these substituents could be cis or they could be trans. So if we had this, where this methyl group was forward and this methyl group is forward, then this would be cis 1,2-dimethyl cyclohexane. And if we have this, where one carbon group is coming forward in front of the plane and one methyl group is going back behind the plane, this would be trans 1,2-dimethyl cyclohexane. With the next compound, remember we named it with this as carbon 1 and this one as carbon 3, and it's possible to have it where the methyl group is forward and the ethyl group is back. This would be trans 1 ethyl 3 methyl cyclohexane. Or if we had our cyclohexane ring, and here our methyl group is coming forward, and our ethyl group is coming forward, then this would be the cis stereoisomer. So it would be cis-1-ethyl-3-methyl cyclohexane. So it's important to recognize that here we have another type of isomers called stereoisomers, the same connectivity, but different arrangement in space, and they cannot be interconverted by rotation around single bonds. And we need to specify them. So we have to add a little bit more to the naming system. If we have multiple substituents, then we need to specify whether they're on the same side, that is cis, or if they're on opposite faces, then that is trans.